20th meeting of Moorhead Public Service Commission to order. Commissioner Mary Daly will be participating in this meeting virtually from 718 Mound Avenue, Mankato, Minnesota 56001, which location is open and accessible to the public during the meeting. The Moorhead Public Service Commission welcomes and encourages customer input on issues listed on the agenda or of general water, electric, utility interest, time and commission permitting. Speakers are limited to 3-minute presentations. Customers wishing to address the commission regarding a specific agenda item will be afforded an opportunity during the discussion of that item. Customers wishing to speak on matters not listed on the agenda will be given the opportunity to do so under the heading Customers to be Heard and/or Recognitions. Each person requesting the opportunity to speak is asked to fill out a request to speak form located in the back of the room and presented to the administrative assistant in attendance at the meeting. Any follow-up or feedback will be done by email on anything that cannot be resolved this evening. Today, our first task is the election of officers for this coming year. There are 3 offices: chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. I'd like to take these in each individually, and we'll start with the chairperson. I'd entertain a nomination for chairperson.
I'll nominate Chair Thompson.
Second.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, I have a motion to elect Christine Thompson as chair of the Moorhead Public Service Commission. Any discussion? Okay, what say you, Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daly?
Yes.
Thompson? I'm not voting. I'd entertain now nominations for vice chairperson.
I would nominate Joel Paulson.
Any discussion? Any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll move to voting. Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daly?
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Next office is secretary. I'd entertain nominations for the position of secretary.
I'll nominate Mr. Baker.
Any other nominations from the floor? Hearing none, we have a motion by Paulson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Gilbertson to appoint Paul Baker as the secretary. Any discussion? Seeing none, Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daly?
Yes.
Thompson? Yes. Okay, great. So to recap, Thompson's chairperson, Paulson is vice chairperson, and Baker is secretary. I entertain a motion to approve today's agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Gilbertson, seconded by Paulson, to approve the meeting's agenda. Discussion? Seeing none. Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daly?
Aye.
Thompson? Aye. I'd now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Daly, seconded by Paulson, to approve the meeting's consent agenda. Any discussion? Seeing none. Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daly?
Yes.
Thompson? Aye. Okay, item number 7, customers to be heard and/or recognitions. Mr. Schmidt. Third meeting, yeah. Wonderful. Great place to work. Any other, there's no customers to be heard today, so any other recognitions? Okay, moving on, old business. Anybody have anything that they want to bring up as old business? I also need to, at this point, appoint somebody to the Economic Development Authority. Mr. Paulson has agreed to serve another year or another term. That's fine, unless you want to arm wrestle him. Okay. Does that need to be approved? I don't know that it needs to be approved, but we'll do it just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Just in case it does. It's easier to do it now than come back. So I've nominated Mr. Paulson to serve on the EDA. Is it seconded by anybody?
Second.
I have a motion by myself, seconded by Gilbertson, to appoint Joel Paulson to the EDA. Discussion or other nominations? Okay, seeing none. Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daley?
Yes.
Thompson, yes. All right, any other old business? Seeing none, report City Council, Mr. Gilbertson.
I would refer you to the extra newspaper. It talks about the growth that Moorhead had last year, both residential and commercial. It was pretty phenomenal.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. Public Service Commission? I don't think there's anything. General Manager's report, Mr. Schmidt.
Yeah, so we've got several items within the general manager report. Again, it's the fourth quarter strategic plan update and dashboards from 2023. Again, we've got updates on the 6 strategic plans that are within the general manager's report. Again, just highlights for both the fourth quarter and for 2023. Along with that, we've got our matrix in there that also talks about our accomplishments or goals that we had for 2023, and if we've completed those, if something is still ongoing, or if something got pushed off for various reasons. We also included all of our dashboards. Again, we've got water, a lot of the water treatment and water distribution information, including water main breaks. Again, that's been pretty good over the last few months and start of 2024. I'm sure I'll jinx it, so Jake's guys will be out fixing some water main probably sooner rather than later. Just kidding, Jake. Other than that, we had pretty good year on the water plant side. Mark's got some really good information for the water plant dashboards as well too. And we've got a little bit of some drought going on, and we're waiting to see what spring brings so we can see when we have to put drought or water restrictions back on. Electric, again, we've got a bunch of good information on the electric side as well too. Again, we've had a warmer winter than normal, so some of our set points have been adjusted down for some cost savings as well too. So lots of good information regarding that. Mark Moylanen's got some financial information in there as well too. Again, we had a really good year on the water and electric side. Net positions were a lot better on the water and electric side by about $2 million on the water and about $4 million on the electric side. So good water sales, good electric sales overall. Just also some IT and GIS updates as well too for fourth quarter, and then our social media statistics. So other than I did forget, all of our safety report stuff is in there as well too. And started the legislative process. You can see some of our updates for the 2024 legislative session that's started going on. Other than that, we did, legislative updates. That would be it. That's all I got.
Great.
Thought I missed something.
Are you expecting or anticipating that sales of electricity will go down over the next quarter?
Yes, we've been watching that pretty closely. January was had a little bit of a blip because it got really cold there for about a week. But this month we've been watching it pretty hard and adjusting set points down, probably to the tune of about 18 to 20 megawatts, lower than what we had budgeted or anticipated it to be based on actuals. So we'll see where that comes in at the end of the month.
Any other questions or comments about the general manager's report? Not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Daley, second by Paulson to accept the general manager's report. Any other last minute questions? All right, seeing none. Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daley?
Yes.
Thompson, aye. Okay, item number 10, letter of commitment for Meeker Cooperative Light and Power Association Midwest Access Harden and Intelligence Project Grant application. Wow, that's a lot.
Yep. I'll have Taylor, a Holt project engineer, come up to speak to this. And this is we applied for this grant application last year and we were turned down. So we're going through phase 2 process of reapplying for it. It's a lot more expansive and the title is a lot different than the last time we had this. But again, all we're doing is asking for a letter of commitment regarding the grant application. I'll let Taylor speak to everything on that and we'll go from there.
Good evening, Commission. Taylor Holt, project engineer. Like Travis was saying, we applied for virtually all of these projects last year, and it was a collaboration with several other utilities in the state of Minnesota and also some entities outside of the state to try to look for price matching grant funds from the IIJA bill from 2021. After it was turned down during the last opportunity, the same group, but possibly trimmed down, are working on revising our previous grant submission and trying to make it better based off of the feedback we received from last year's application. A couple adjustments that we made, we dropped off one of the lower costing projects that we included in our budget this year. So we're not sitting around waiting, hoping for funding, but we are able to absorb that internally. But on top of that, we also tacked on some distribution conversion projects, which essentially is looking for funds to convert overhead to underground, which is just going to help us out with projects that we're already planning on doing in the future, which is actually, for this specific item, all of these projects are currently in our budget, so any fund matching is kind of a cherry on top for us. And the biggest impact more so is when we get to these projects and perform the construction on them. Something to add on this, these projects, based on our current size, the federal funds, if awarded, are going to cover 75% of the budget numbers shown here, and MPS is responsible for 25%, which would be a pretty good return on investment, in my opinion. On top of that, we are behind the scenes applying for a grant from the Minnesota Department of Commerce, which will cover half of our price match, essentially reducing our total cost of that $7,710,000 down to 12.5% of it. I think that covers anything. Are there any other questions at this point in time?
Questions for Taylor? It's not. I just, what, is there any, you said it took, there were some outside of the state entities that were involved in this too, or?
Yeah, there's some in Iowa, North Dakota, and South Dakota applying as well, but the bulk of it is municipalities and cooperatives in the state of Minnesota. And on top of that, MMUA is actually covering the application fees for this project and the next one I'm going to talk about.
Nice. Okay, if there's no questions for, oh, go ahead.
I have just maybe a quick comment. I think these grant opportunities are great, and there's money that's just sitting out there from the IIJ funds that could certainly be put to good use here in Moorhead. I'm wondering if supplementing this, the grant application with also having outreach to our state legislators might be beneficial. I know that's helped Moorhead in the past with some of the underpass funding that we're seeing. It's also helped other projects in the area when we get our legislators involved. But.
Yeah. Taylor, do you, by chance, when they went through that process and we got some feedback, was there any state legislator process of approval as part of that, or how did that function?
My understanding, and I could be slightly off, but is that the Department of Energy is actually the agency selecting. One of the criteria that was disappointing in last year's funds is that They gave specific goals for what they were trying to do with the funds, and the actual award recipients didn't necessarily fall under that umbrella, according to a lot of people's opinions. So we're adjusting again and trying to target the major points that those award recipients kind of cross off their checklists, and making sure we shore up our ends this time around. But as far as that sort of influence you're asking about, I don't quite have a good answer for you at this point in time.
We can check it out and see if it's an opportunity for us to approach some of the legislative members.
Sometimes, even if they're just aware
Yep.
that we're applying for the grant, that could help, or
Sure.
get some guidance from their offices as well.
Yeah, we can touch base with the group and see where we need to go with it.
Any other questions or comments before I entertain a motion? Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the letter of commitment.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Gilbertson, seconded by, it was a toss-up, I'll give it to Baker, to approve the letter of commitment from Meeker Cooperative, ... Any further discussion? Seeing none, Gilbertson,
Aye.
Baker, Paulson,
Aye.
Daley,
Aye.
Thompson, aye. Item number 11, approve letter of commitment for Minnesota Department of Commerce's decarbonizing the heartland. Mr. Schmidt.
Sure. Again, I'll have Taylor come up on this one. This is a new one for us. This is actually not in our current budgets. There are some things that are going on probably this year at the state legislature that might require battery storage to be approved. Again, this is an IIJA funding opportunity. I'll let Taylor kind of speak to that. And we do have opportunities, even though we approve the commitment letter, to maybe step out after the fact, after we have some more time to do some study work on this. But again, deadlines are tight, so we have to get approvals now and then can step out later if need be. Taylor, I'll let you speak to the rest of it.
Thank you, Travis. As Travis was saying, we're asking for approval of this letter of commitment and authorizing the general manager to have kind of the final say. What we're kind of running into is they're only giving us a short period of time to put together these letters of commitment. We're trying to do it well ahead of time, while we're also running a study to make sure that this committing to this project is right for the utility in the city of Moorhead. Because, like Travis also stated, this isn't currently in our budget, and it is quite investment. But prior to doing anything like that, we are looking into making sure that we'll get a return on this investment. Partially because it's a very expensive investment, and secondly because it's fairly new technology. We do believe we have an operational plan that would help us to peak shed and save money throughout the peaking times of the year to eventually pay it off. But essentially, without grant funding like this, we don't believe it would be feasible at this point in time. This is also looking for grant funding through the IIJA, but it is separated from the previous projects. They're focusing on kind of a different specific direction of the IIJA funding. I do understand that Missouri River Energy Services is also a part of this grant, looking for battery storage projects in their members' footprints. So we're working kind of side by side with them independently. On top of that, at the end of the day, we're definitely not going to, we're working with the application agency to make sure that we know specific dates that we have to either be fully committed or back out by. Essentially, with the meeting schedule we have, this is the most opportune time to request approval from the commission and then make a decision when that time comes ultimately. Are there any questions? It consists of only one project.
Gilbertson.
Thank you. That was going to be my question. So this is just to apply.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just to apply. When does it, 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 when does it At any point in time, then you can withdraw if it's,
Yeah, up to a certain date or period of time. Taylor's still working to find out what those, or when those deadlines are. And once we have those, then we'll be able to make decisions based on a drop dead date.
Any further questions?
so this is a formality.
At this point, yes. It allows us to get our name on the application and get it in to see if we're even approved. At the same point in time, Taylor and I can start working on trying to figure out the numbers and see if it functions right. We'll probably bring something back at a future meeting to the commission, just to kind of explain how we would want this to function from a peak shaving perspective and where the cost savings would come from. We've had a brief conversation with Mark on this as well too, trying to make sure he understands how that would function as well.
Our goal with this is to not impact rates whatsoever and make sure that it pays itself off. Well, before we would make a decision on doing anything that would impact rates, it would come to you guys first for approval. But at this point in time, this is in design without us backing out, should not impact rates.
Wonderful. Always nice to be able to go after free money, right?
Sometimes it's very difficult.
And it's funny how it costs money to get money. Oh, well. Okay, I entertain a motion to approve this letter of commitment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Paulson, seconded by Baker, to approve the letter of commitment for Minnesota Department of Commerce's decarbonizing the heartland. Any further discussion? Thank you, Taylor. Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daley?
Aye.
Thompson? Aye. All right. Water distribution pipe and fittings.
Sure. I'll have Jake Long come up, our water distribution manager. Again, this is an annual process. Again, we've got Paul here, so we just want him to understand all the fun things we get to do on an annual basis for construction season. With that, I'm going to let Jake kind of speak to our distribution pipe and fittings bid that we had. Go ahead, Jake.
Thank you, Travis. Jake Long, Water Distribution Manager. The item in front of you, as Travis mentioned, is to award the bid for 2024 Water Distribution Pipe and Fittings Project to the lowest qualified bidder. This project is an annual purchase of all water distribution materials for all of the self-performed water main projects that MPS crews construct in the summer, along with all of our miscellaneous parts and materials for any other projects, including main breaks, service leaks, and hydrant projects. Bids were open for this project on February 7th. MPS received one qualified bid from Ferguson Waterworks and two unqualified bids due to bidders not including a bid security, as shown on the and this is shown on the bid tabulation sheet. At this time, staff recommends awarding both bid item number 1 and bid item number 2 in the amount of $265,449 or $265,449.20 to Ferguson Waterworks. In comparison, this was below staff's estimate of $278,000, and Ferguson Waterworks has successfully completed this project in the past and has shown that they can provide the materials as specified and in a timely manner. So at that time, I'll take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Long? Have we worked with them before?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They got last year we were able to quote the project instead of bid it, and they were the low quote last year, so.
Okay, I entertain a motion then, to award the bid.
So moved.
A motion by Gilbertson, seconded by Baker, to award the bid for the 2024 water distribution pipe and fittings. Any discussion? Seeing none, thanks, Jake. Appreciate it. Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Right.
Daley?
Yes.
Thompson? Aye. Item number 13, lime sludge dewatering facility improvement.
Yeah, so I'll have Jake speak to this one. Again, last year, June, July timeframe, we went out for bid for access improvements, concrete for access to the lime sludge dewatering facility. We got high bids at that point in time. We paused that project till this winter time so we could go out for bids again. Jake definitely got more favorable pricing, so we're wanting to ask you to move forward with that project. It is in the budget. Jake, I'll let you speak to the rest of it.
Yeah, kind of covered it a lot there, but this item in front of you is to award the bid for this last bid that we went out for. As Travis mentioned, this project consists of constructing a new concrete driveway from Highway 75 to the newly constructed lime sludge building, along with wrapping it around to the south side to connect to some existing concrete, and it also includes some drainage, proper drainage adjacent to the lime sludge dewatering facility that we've had over the years and in the back area towards that building. This project was originally advertised for bid in June of 2023. At that time, we received 2 qualified bids, with the low bidder 15% higher than the engineer's estimate of $466,000. At that time, due to the lack of bids received and the bids well exceeding the engineer's estimate, it was recommended by staff and approved by the commission in July 18th of 2023 to reject all bids and rebid the project in January 2024. The purpose of that is rebidding in a more favorable bidding climate and to receive additional bids and better pricing. The project was rebid in January, and on February 7th, we received 4 qualified bids ranging from the amount of $448,000 to $538,000. And as shown in the attached recommendation letter from Apex and Engineering, the low bid for the project was from Haug Incorporated out of Detroit Lakes. And just for reference, it was $97,000 less than the original low bid from 2023. At this time, MPS staff recommends awarding the base bid plus the additive alternate to Haug Incorporated in the amount of $448,721.50. And again, Haug has successfully completed several projects throughout the past several years and has demonstrated they have the ability to complete the project as specified.
Thank you. Any questions for Jake?
I do love the 50 cents.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, since there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Paulson, seconded by Gilbertson, to award the bid for 2024 access improvement for the lime sludge dewatering facility. Any other questions or discussion before we move on? Okay, Gilbertson? Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daly?
Yes.
Thompson, aye. Thank you. Appreciate it. Item number 14, approve Minnesota Department of Health's Groundwater Protection Initiative Accelerated Implementation Grant Application. Mr. Schmidt.
I'll start with this, and I'll have Mark Pritchard explain it. We had to rush to put this one on. They opened the grant application 2 weeks earlier than we had anticipated, so it was either get it on now or ask for forgiveness later, so we decided to rush to put it on to this meeting. I'll let Mark kind of explain the details behind it. We've met with DNR over the last half of last year, and they've had some requests for us, so this is where this grant application is coming from. So Mark, I'll let you speak to the rest of it.
Thank you, Travis. Mark Pritchard, Water Plant Manager. First off, quick shout out to the admin support staff. Thank you for being able to help get us on the board here this afternoon. As Travis had mentioned, this item is for the procurement and the submittal of an application to a relatively new grant process called the Groundwater Protection Initiative Accelerated Implementation Grant Program. So this is primarily for multi-jurisdictional collaboration to enhance groundwater monitoring and protection. That's the reason why this grant was put together a few years ago. At the behest of the Department of Natural Resources staff, they are encouraging us to apply for this grant. They actually pointed us in the direction as we were talking about groundwater sustainability and enhanced monitoring of the Moorhead Aquifer here last September, as General Manager Schmidt had mentioned. And the nice thing about this grant is there is no obligation for matching funds from the applicant, which is really nice. In the past, we've always gone after competitive implementation grants that have a 50-50 cost share. This does not have that, which is great for us because at the end of the day, it is potentially free money to take care of projects. The other nice thing about this grant is it does go up to $50,000. Where in other circumstances that we've applied for grant funding, the maximum is 10. So this is quite an improvement to other grant applications we've seen in the past few years. So the other items that are kind of pertaining to this grant application is we would pay up front should it be approved by the Department of Health with quarterly reimbursements based off of proper invoicing being submitted to the state. So at the end of things, they're looking for 2 monitoring wells to be in the Moorhead Aquifer to, again, enhance that monitoring and really to capture the data of the level frequencies over time to help prove the fact that the Moorhead Aquifer, while being used in a sustainable fashion by MPS, is slowly but surely increasing and filling up over time. With it being a fully confined aquifer, that is a very slow and drawn-out process over time. And our static well positions have been really the main data that has been submitted to DNR in the past, and they're looking to boost those numbers from other areas. So they're looking for 1 monitoring well approximately 270 feet deep next to our wells, with another about 1.5 miles to the south and a little bit west. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think Mark has done some preliminary estimates. He figures that the cost of putting those 2 wells in will be less than the total $50,000 or right around that total amount. So it should have no cost to MPS. And this was a big discussion point we had with DNR as we were working through their request to add those wells. It's like, okay, how are we going to fund this? And that's how we got to the application.
And to build off that same point, General Manager Schmidt, we also just this afternoon talked with the administration for this grant application process. And should one of the observation wells cost more than $25,000, meaning we wouldn't be able to do 2 within the same grant application, they would be willing to work with us a little bit and amend our application for the project to do 1 well 1 calendar year, close it out, and then apply for the second one next year so that there would be no out-of-pocket funds being spent by MPS.
Thank you, Mark. I know you've done a lot of work with protecting our groundwater, and it's nice that you have this opportunity to apply for some funding to continue that path.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Any other questions or comments?
I am very impressed and happy that the different departments have found grant money for all these things. This has been a lovely meeting. You keep telling us about all this money. It's like, okay, this is good. Thank you to all of you.
Very true. Any other questions or comments? Okay, entertain a motion then.
So moved.
Second?
Mary,
Yeah,
yep.
motion by Daley, seconded by Paulson to approve the grant application. Any discussion? Okay. Gilbertson?
Aye.
Baker? Paulson?
Aye.
Daley?
Yes.
Thompson? Aye. Okay. That looks like we're not doing closed session.
Not tonight.
And upcoming meetings, March 5th and March 19th. March 5th if needed. And then there are some opportunities for commissioners. Take a look at those. Contact Travis if anything interests you. And I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion by Gilbertson, seconded by Paulson, to adjourn today's meeting. There's going to be no discussion on this item, so we will move to Gilbertson,
Aye.
Baker, Paulson,
Aye.
Daley,
Yeah.
Thompson, aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for coming. Have a great rest